Assalamu alaikum friends, and welcome to another lesson of Tohfatu Saniyyah, lesson number 6, and this lesson now starts with the Eraab. So the basic understanding about the Eraab is very crucial for the students who are learning Arabic grammar. So this is just an introduction about what is Eraab, and in the future lesson that will come after this is about the type of Erabs, and we will go step by step learning about the different kind of Arabs. So first of all, let's go and understand what is Arab actually. According to the author of this book, he explains about the Arab as changing the haraka of the last letter of noun, either verb. So in this lesson, we will be learning the Arab, putting the correct haraka on the last letter, number one, of a noun, and number two, on a verb. So first of all, we will learn about the noun and then we come to the verbs. So the author explains changing of the last letter, the haraka of the last letter of a noun or a verb, and due to a factor. So what do you think about changing a haraka? Why does a haraka change on a noun or a verb? What is the reason? There are certain reason or factors that comes before a noun and before a verb that brings about a change of harakas on the last letter of a noun or a verb. So this changing of the harakas due to any reason, due to any factor, any amil that comes before noun or a verb is called i'rab. And Eraab can be of two types, and you will learn these two types of Eraab in this lesson. That is the lafzan. Lafzan means something visible that you can clearly see the haraka, dhamma, fatha, kasra on the last letter of a noun or a verb. Or it can be taqdiri. Taqdiri means that which you are not allowed to put a haraka over the last letter. There are certain letters which don't accept harakas over them. So we will learn inshallah in this lesson about those letters also. In this case, those letters which does not carry any haraka over them, we call them as taqdiri. So we don't put visibly writing on those letters as dhamma, fatha, kasra, but we assume that there is a haraka, but we are not allowed to write it. So in this case, it is called taqdiri or muqaddara, haraka muqaddara, as in Arabic we say. And according to the author, the Mahiyuddin, he says Arab has two meanings. One is the lafziyu and the other is talahiyu. So in this book, you will always come across these two kind of meanings, lafziyu and istalahiyu. Lafziyu means in a local language, in a simple language, what you understand about the Arab. But istalahiyu means according to the scholars, according to the grammarians, how they see the definition of a particular word in grammar. According to Mahiyuddin, he explains Arab as idhar, al-ibana, and al-Arab. These all three words are equal, similar in meaning. They mean to express yourself clearly. An example, as you can see, aradtu amma fi nafsi. So I expressed myself clearly what is in myself or what is inside me. I expressed myself. Either abantahu. So he explained him clearly. Wa azhartahu, or he showed him clearly. Amma ma'ana fi istalah, and in grammar or according to the grammarians, they explain as changing of the awakhir kalim, means changing of the haraka of the last letter of the noun or a verb, and that haraka can change accordingly the positions in the sentence from dhamma to fatha to kasra, and that means you can see it clearly. And which harakas you don't see it clearly, that means they are muqaddara or taqdiri. From the term taghir, awakhir al-kalim means that the change that happens on the last letter of a noun or the last letter of a verb. So in this paragraph, the author has explained that all these changes, all the changes of the haraka on the last letter, it doesn't happen by itself. In order to change the haraka, there should be some reason in a sentence. You will check the position of the noun or a verb, and you can check the reason why there is a change in the haraka, because some of the nouns you will see that sometimes they have a dhamma, sometimes they carry a fatha, sometimes they carry a kasra. So why do they change? Do they just change itself randomly? No, there must be some reason. So that's what this author has explained here, that it does not change by itself, but there is a reason to bring about this change. And all these changing of the harakas on the last letter, either noun or the verb, to raf, to nasb and jar, in real or by according to the rule of grammar. And it is the changing is brought about by the factor amil. Amil, I said, anything that comes before a noun. For example, if I say a harf jar comes before a noun, so that harf jar has brought about a change. The noun will have a kasra call, and it's now in the ism majroor position. So that is amil. And in case of verb, if there is a tool of nasb or a tool of jazm before a fail mudare, it will bring about a change. The fail mudare will change its haraka. So that is amil, that brings about change in the verb and the noun. So this is due to the amil, and that's what the author explains here. The amil sends the noun or the verb into raf or into nasb or into the jar case. So that is the summary of this paragraph. In this paragraph, you will learn about the amil, how it brings about the change in the coming noun. In this case, first example, we have our amil hadara. And due to this hadara, the next noun coming after it has a dhamma over it. How do you know it should have a dhamma? Apply the formula fail plus file. The file immediately comes after the fail, and we know that file, the doer, falls in the position of, in the case of marfu. So this amil, on the action of this amil, is sending this noun into rough case. So that is what the author has explained here, as it is a file, and the amil factor is hadar. Now we will see the next example, that is Ra'aytu Muhammadan. So first of all, let's apply the formula. Ra is the fail, Damir is the file in the position of file, and Muhammad is in the position of maf'ulun bihi. So if you see Ra'aytu Muhammadan, so from fail, file, maf'ul bihi, it has changed its haraka to fathatain, because now Muhammad is in the position of maf'ul bihi, and maf'ul bihi is known by the haraka fatha. So now what is the amil here? Why it has taken a fatha? The amil is ra'aytu. Due to this, I know Muhammadan, it has a fathatain. So it has sent the noun Muhammad into a nasb case. Now let's check the third case, that is Hawaitu bi Muhammadin. Now the same noun, as you saw here, it had a dhamma. Same noun, it had a fatha. Now in the third case, the same noun, it has a kasra. So what has brought about this change? Why this noun Muhammad has taken a kasra? The reason, the amil, the factor, is the harf jar. As I spoke already in my previous slide, this harf jar has made this noun undergo into majroor case. Now this noun Muhammad is called ism majroor. So that's why it has taken a kasratain. So our amil factor is the harf jar here. So that is this is the factor, this is the reason that has sent Muhammad to sent it into the case of jar. So this is what has been shown in this paragraph. If you think clearly after seeing all the examples of Hadara Muhammad, Ra'aytu Muhammad, and Bi Muhammadin, you will understand the visibility of the haraka over the last letter, that is the dal here. It has undergone three changes, and it was once a marfu case in the first example, then the mansub case in the second, and the jar case in the third example. So all these changes that you have seen in the previous example, all these changing of the case from raf to nasb to jar is all explained by the author himself. It is his explanation, and that is what is called man dhahaba madhhabihi, means madhhab is his ways, his explanation. And all together, if you see, you have seen the three positions, the three cases, that is the raf, nasb and jar, and the signs, and these are the signs of the Arab. Whatever you follow the grammatical rules according to this grammarian is his way of explaining the Arab, and this is what is called Arab, giving the haraka, correct haraka on the noun or on the verb according to the rules of grammar. And last of all, now the author explains about the verb. Up till now, we were talking about the nouns only. Now he is talking about the verb, and which verb we are talking about. And now you will see that the verb, that is the present tense, which is the only tense that undergoes changes, and we don't change the past tense. Past tense are mabni, commands are mabni, we don't change them, but only mudare goes into three changes, from marfu to mansub to jazm. So there is only one difference, it does not go into majroor case but jazm, that is the case of sukun. You will see a sukun in jazm case on the last letter. Every change happens on the last letter. So here is an example: yusafiru Ibrahimu. So here you can see yusafiru is a present tense, and Ibrahim coming after the fail is in the position of file, doer. So we know that it's in marfu case. Okay, so now we'll be having a close look on the fail mudare. Here the fail mudare, what can you say about a fail mudare here? It's having a dhamma on the last letter ra. That means dhamma showing the case. Which case? The marfu case. So this is a marfu case here in the case of present tense. How? One proof is that it has a dhamma. Another proof, you check is there anything before the present tense? Is there a factor? Is there a reason for the present tense changes has haraka? No, there is no reason, no factor. So that means it is in marfu case. There is no reason to change its haraka, and it remains to dhamma. That means this is in marfu case. This present tense is in marfu case. As explained before, I said whenever you come across a present tense, check is there anything before it. If you don't find anything before a present tense, know that it's in marfu case. Now in this paragraph, the author explains how the tool comes and it becomes a reason for the present tense to undergo change into a nasb or a jar. So first example here for the nasb is lan yusafira Ibrahimu. So in the previous example, you saw a dhamma over the ra, but here what you see, due to this tool of nasb, lan has come, and that's why this fail mudare has changed its haraka from dhamma to fatha, and it has now gone into a nasb case, and here the amil, our factor, is lan. And then we see that in the third example, this is our third example of the jazm case, due to the tool of jazm, and this is our factor, the fail mudare has undergone change. It has changed the haraka from fatha to sukun, and when you see a sukun on the last letter, know that it is in jazm case. It is recognized by a sukun. So our factor lam has made this fail mudare to undergo into this case, jazm case, and the factor is lam. So this is the explanation how the fail mudare undergoes. If there is nothing before a fail mudare, then the fail mudare is in marfu case. If there is a tool of nasb, so the fail mudare undergo into a nasb case. If there is a tool of jazm, the fail mudare goes into jazm case. This is the quick summary of whatever explained in this paragraph. So the changes of the harakas in the present tense that you just saw in my previous slide is the changing of the position of fail mudare. It goes into two kind of two kinds, that is ينقسم إلى قسمان. First of all, it's لفظي, that means you can see it visibly, and تقديري, where you don't see it, it is assumed, the haraka is assumed. And when does this assumed haraka starts? Whenever you see a weak letter at the end, just like you learned in the noun, you saw the alif maksura, the weak letter waw, ya, and the damir attached to the noun. But in the verbs, we have the alif maksura, the waw, the ya. Whenever these weak letter comes, know that the harakas become taqdiri, that is not visible. So here you will learn two types of harakas. One is visible, the other is assumed. So the author explains what is the lafziyu, the visible haraka, that which is not, it is not prohibited from pronouncing. You can pronounce it because you see it with your own eyes visibly on the last letter. For example, you saw the damatain on Muhammad, you saw the fatha or the kasra on the last letter of dal, and in the present tense you saw the dhamma, the fatha, and the sukun over the last letter of this present tense verb ra. So this is what is called lafziyu, by seeing with your own eyes. And next one is the taqdiri. Let's see. Before going on to understand the term taqdiri or muqaddara, this is the example given in the lesson. So first I will make you understand this sentence, and then we will go and understand the term taqdiri. يدعو, this is particular example of a fail mudari having a weak letter at the end. Since we will learn about taqdiri haraka, the haraka that we assume in our minds and are not visible. So this sentence is totally designed in a way where you will find all the weak letters at the end. In the fail mudari, you can see a waw weak letter at the end. In this noun, you will see alif maksura at the end. In this noun, ism manqus, you will see a weak letter ya at the end. And this noun, it is a noun with an attached pronoun ya mutakallim. So here you will learn about three kind of taqdiri harakat or muqaddara harakat. And when does it happen? So first thing you should know, when does the muqaddara haraka comes? Only and only when you will see a weak letter at the end. The moment you see, sorry, this is the damir actually. The moment you see these weak letters at the end, know that the harakas have become muqaddara or taqdiri. So first of all, seeing the jumla, you should decide which kind of sentence is this. So what type of sentence is this? It is a jumla failure, and it has a weak letter attached at the end, and here it has a weak letter, but this weak letter is something you should know about. It may come as in the shape of a ya without dots, or it may come as a long vowel alif. So both of them, for example, it may come in the word asa, asa. So this is also weak letter alif, and this also is a weak letter alif. Both of them will not tolerate haraka over them. So this weak letter is it is totally different from others. What about the isman kos? So the isman kos is coming with a weak letter here. You can see a weak letter. So this is mankus always ends with a ya at the end when it is marifa. So this will not have a dhamma or a kasra. Know that it is a rule. It sometimes it will only show a fatha. Sometimes you will see a clear visible fatha over the ya. This is the rule only for ism manqus nouns. So in mansub case, it will show a clear fatha over it. But in marfu case, the dhamma will not be shown. Dhamma is not allowed to be written over it. And in the majroor case, the kasra is not allowed to be written under it. Then comes the last, where you can see there is a ya damir ya mutakallim. So this damir is attached with the noun meme. So our main letter which would carry a dhamma is meme. It should have a dhamma, but since the ya mutakallim is attached to meme, so some change has come. So I will talk about it later. First, we will go back to the fail mudari. Now, this is a jumla failure, right? This is a jumla failure. And when you have confirmed it is a jumla failure, first of all, you need to put the formula, that is the fail plus comes the file doer just after the fail, and it is the ma'tuf harf atf. I'm writing in initials. This becomes the ma'tuf, again harf atf, and this becomes the ma'tuf. So you know the rules of matuf, that whenever you see a matuf, the haraka before it, it will share the same harakas. So in this case, what is happening? All this qadi and ghulami are sharing the same haraka because both of them are matuf to al-fatah. Now you know al-fatah is a file doer, and doer is always in marfu case, and the position is of a file. So here it should be a haraka dhamma, right? And since qadi is matuf to fatah, so qadi is also sharing a dhamma. And since ghulami is also matuf to fatah and qadi, so it will also have a dhamma. The meme should have a dhamma. But I will talk about this kasra later, why it is having a kasra. So this is the Arab of the sentence. And now let's see the Arabic Arab that I have given here. Pay attention on the Arab and it will be very clear to you. Fa'il mudare marfoon. Why did I say it is in marfu case, fa'il mudare? How do you confirm that a fa'il mudare is in marfu case? Simple, it's very simple. You just have to see that whether there is any tool or any factor or any amil before a fa'il mudare. So this is the proof that this fail mudare is in marfu case because there is no reason, no factor before it, no amil to bring about a change on this fail mudare to change its haraka. And since it is a marfu, there should be a dhamma over the waw. But why I cannot give a dhamma over the waw? It's not allowed because weak letters don't carry any haraka. So in this case, I know, I assume in my mind that there is a dhamma, but it is heavy. So the Arab for this kind of fi'l mudari, we will say fi'l mudari marfu'un wa alamatu raf'ihi ad-dhamma al-muqaddara. The dhamma is muqaddara, is assumed. Why? لأنه الثقيل. Because it's heavy. We can't put the dhamma over the waw. The next one comes al-fatah. Al-fatah is in the position of file, and I know file is in marfu case. Wa alamatu raf'ihi ad-damma muqaddara. So here also the damma is muqaddara. I can't write over this letter alif maqsura. It is one of the weak letter that does not tolerate any haraka in any position. So it has a very bad temper as compared to ya and waw. And one important information I would like to give, sometimes you will see the ya and the waw can show a visible fatha over it, but dhamma and kasra is not written in any position. Dhamma and kasra are not allowed on the waw and the ya, but in mansub case, the waw and the ya may sometimes show you the fatha. As I said in the isman course, the ya here, it is a weak letter, but sometimes in mansub case, it will show its fatha visible. So here also fatha cannot carry a dhamma over it, but I know it's there, so it's muqaddara li'annahu ta'adhur. Ta'adhur in Arabic means impossible to put the haraka over alif maqsura. The next one is the harf atf. Now, when the harf atf comes, what happens? The noun ism manqus al-qadi becomes ma'tuf to al-fata. So, ma'tuf al-fa'il marfuun wa alamatu raf'ihi ad-damma shares the same haraka, and it's also muqaddara because it's a weak letter ya here. It will not show the damma, visible damma. It is muqaddara. Why? لأنه الثقيل. So we have two saqil situations here. One in the waw where you had a weak letter waw and where you had a ya. So when you see a weak letter waw and when you see a weak letter ya, you always have to mention in your Arab that it is heavy. لأنه it is الثقيل. Then again harf atf comes and ghulam becomes matuf to both of them. So it will carry the same haraka. So here meme should have a dhamma. But what is happening here? It has taken a kasra. Why? Because it has been attached with the ya mutakallim and it's a damir and it's a ya. So if you remember this rule that whenever these ya, alif and waw comes, the previous letter shows the corresponding haraka. For example, if there is a ya, you will see a kasra in the previous letter. If there is an alif, you will see a fatha in the previous letter, and if there is a waw, you will see dhamma in the previous letter. So the i'rab for this is ma'tuf al fa'il marfu wa alamatu rafihi ad-dhamma al-muqaddara. So I think I have missed the word al-muqaddara here. So you should write here as al-muqaddara. It's muqaddara. لأنه why اشتغال في محل حركة مناسبة. This place is now become busy. Meme, the place of the meme is become busy taking the suitable haraka. And what is the suitable haraka? The ya, the kasra before the ya. The ya mutakallim is forcing the meme to take kasra and lose its original dhamma. Because if you say ghulamui, the sound is not correct. So it has to go with this letter ya. So now it has taken a kasra and this is the suitable haraka here, ghulami. But in Arab, you need to mention that there is a dhamma muqaddara and it is in marfu case. Most of the students do a mistake here only and they think that it's by seeing the kasra below the meme, they think it's majroor or it's in majroor case, but it's not the case here. So, and this is only when ya mutakallim comes. This rule applies only and only when the ya mutakallim comes. So this is all the details regarding this sentence. Now, inshallah, we will go to the term, understanding the term at-taqdiri. Author of تقديري. What do you understand by تقديري? فهو ما يمنع, what is prohibited from تلفظ means from pronouncing به. مانع من تعذر means it is preventing. And one of the reasons for preventing تعذر is the letter alif and ya مقصورة, alif مقصورة, sorry. أو استثقال in case of the ya of ism manqus or wow. So these two letters, as I explained, will take a visible fatha in only mansub case, but in marfu and majroor case, it will not show dhamma or kasra. So in this case, you will say it is istisqal, heavy. It's called heavy. Ta'adhur is impossible. Aw munasib, suitable. Suitable in the case of غلامي. تقول, so this was the example we did before. يدعو الفتى والقاضي والغلامي. So now the author is explaining each and every noun and verb here. First of all, this verb present tense is marfu. As I said, there is no amil before it. As already explained, it's in marfu case. لِتَجَرُّدِهِ means it is free from nasib case, means mansub case, or jazim case, or you can say jazm case. Now what about al-fata? Al-fata is marfu. Why? Because you know after the fail comes the file. File is always in marfu case. Kaunuhu, it's file. And what about qadi and ghulami? These two are following, they are marfu. These two are following al-fatah because they are ma'tuf to fatah, as he said here, ma'tufan ala fa'il. Fa'il is what? Al-fatah. They are both ma'tufan to fatah. ولكن, now the author says, but الضمة لا تظهر. The dhamma is not visible on the awakhir, last of all these words coming in the sentence. You cannot see the dhamma on fatah, qadi or ghulami or yad'u. Why? لتعذرها. لتعذرها, as impossible in fatah because of the, why? لأنه التعذر. Why? Because of the alif maqsura. ثقلها in the present tense and in the qadi. It's heavy, cannot show. And ajal munasib means it is busy taking a suitable haraka. Munasib in the ya mutakallim case, as in ghulami. فتكون الضمة مقدرة على آخر كلمة منع من ظهورها التعذر. So the first reason is تعذر. The second one you learned about ثقل in case of waw and ya. تعذر in case of alif مقصورة. And اشتغال المحل in the case of ya mutakallim. اشتغال المحل only in the case of ya mutakallim, damir ya mutakallim. So you should learn these important points here. So now let's see what author explains in the next. Let's see the last two cases, that is the mansub and the majroor case. So here in the sentence we have the similar kalimas, but the case is changed just because now an adawat, tool of nasb has come, an amil, a factor has come before the fail mudari. So now you see how the haraka change. So before we did the marfu case, the fail mudare into marfu case. Now the fail mudare is in mansoob case because of this factor. So I have given the Eraab here. Let's go through the Eraab. Lan adawatul is nasb. Due to this factor, yarda, the fail mudare is in mansoob. وعلامة نسبه الفتحة المقدرة لأنه التعذر. You should give your reason why it is fatha muqaddara, because of this alif makhsura which does not tolerate any haraka over it. It's impossible. So that's why it is لأنه التعذر. What about al-fatah? So this comes after the fail. So it's fa'il marfu. You know the fa'il comes after fail. So it's fa'il marfu. وَلَامَةُ رَفْعِهِ الضَّمَّةُ مُقَدَّرَةٌ لِأَنَّهُ التَّعَذُّرُ. Still, it's in marfu case and we have alif makhsura. It cannot show the visible dhamma. So it is ta'adhur because of this alif makhsura. Wow, harf atf. Whatever comes after atf will follow the same haraka. So al-qadi, now you know this is ism manqus with a weak letter ya at the end. Ma'tuf ala fa'il marfoon wal amatu rafi'iyya damma muqaddara. Now it has a damma on this weak letter ya, but as I said, the ya will not show dhamma in marfu case. So in this case, what will you say in your Eraab? Al-istithqal. It's heavy. It's heavy here. You cannot write the dhamma still on this weak letter ya. Wow, again atf and ghulami is ma'tuf ala fa'il, that is the fatha following sharing the same haraka, marfu'un wal amatu raf'i damma muqaddara li'annahu. Now in this case this ya is damir mutakallim. So meme is busy taking the suitable haraka kasra. As I said, this ya is forcing the meme to take a kasra. But originally it should have a dhamma, but now it's busy taking a suitable haraka. So you will add in your Eraab this last piece of information. Ishtighal al-mahal means it's busy in the position, taking haraka al-munasiba, taking the suitable haraka, that is the kasra. Now let's see the next case, that is innal fata wa ghulami la fa'izan. Now this is jumla ismiya and there is a tawqid, harf tawqid nasb here. So let's see what are the changes in the harakas. and there will be changes in the Arab also. So here inna harf tawkid wa nasb. Al-fata coming after inna is ism inna mansubun wa alamatu nasbihi al-fata al-muqaddara li'annahu at-ta'adhur. Why? Because of this alif maqsura. Wow, harf atf. Now Gulami will follow the same haraka of fata. So it is ma'tuf ala ism inna. So that is the al-fata. وعلامة نسبه الفتحة المقدرة لأنه اشتغال المحل بحركة المناسبة. As you know, this is ضمير يا متكلم. So it is busy taking the suitable haraka kasra. Then comes the lam, that is the la faizan. This lam actually is called lam muzahlaqa. Muzahlaqa means it's a lam that comes usually for beautification, but it is usually attached with the khabar of inna. And this and it does not have any role to play in the Arab, does not bring about any changes in khabar inna. So it just comes with attached with the khabar inna. Faizan. So this is khabar inna marfu'un wa alamatu raf'ihi al-alifu li'annahu muthanna. So this is in marfu case. And how do you know it is marfu? Because of this alif duality. And why is it here? Because it is a muthanna noun. Muthanna noun shows their position or Arab by letters, not by harakas. So now let's see the last example, that is in the majroor case. Marartu means I passed by, bil fata wa ghulami wal qadi. So now it's totally in the majroor case. So let's see how the Arab will be. So in this case, you will see marartu, we have fail madi. Tu is damir muttasil fa'il marfu. As you know, it's in the place of fa'il and coming after the fail. It's a attached pronoun. B is harf jar. Now, due to this harf jar, all of them coming will be in the jar case. Al-fata will be ism majroor wa alamatu jarrihi al-kasra al-muqaddara li'annahu at-ta'adhur. When you see the alif maqsura, you add li'annahu at-ta'adhur. Atf. Now, in this case, when you see damir mutakallim, what are you going to say? The same ma'tuf rab, ma'tuf ala ism majroor, that is the al-fata, sharing the same kasra from al-fata. Alamatu jarrihi al-kasra al-muqaddara li'annahu ishtighal al-mahal biharaka munasiba. So you need to put this piece of information whenever you see ya mutakallim. Wa harf atf. And al-qadi is ma'tuf ala ism majroor al-fata wa alamatu jarri al-kasratu al-muqaddara li'annahu istithqal or athqal. Anything you can say, but it's heavy. And here also, as I said, waw and ya will not show the haraka in marfu case, that is the dhamma, and in the majroor case, that is the kasra. So this noun with ism manqus cannot show the kasra. So it's heavy. We cannot put the haraka there. So you need to know these Arab. These Arabs are very important. If you can note down all these Arabs, they will give you a quick revision on whatever you learned in this lesson. So as discussed before, now the author says, let's read out فَمَا كَانَ آخِرُ أَلِفًا. Now, if you see alif, that is the alif makhsura or the long alif, لازم تقدر عليه جميع الحركات للتعذر. So whenever you see an alif makhsura or the long alif, you have to make your Arab as a ta'adhur, as explained before. وَيُسَمَّى al-ism muntahi means that noun is ending bil alif makhsura. For example, al-fata, al-asa. So as I said, the alif makhsura can be this alif or this in the shape of a ya without dots. So al-haja, al-raha, al-rida. Now, wama kana akhri ya لازما تقدروا عليه ضمة and kasra. Now, when you see a ya at the end of a noun, for example, in the ism manqus, you have to do your Eraab, give your Eraab as lissaqal. As we did all, it's just the repetition. ويسمى الاسم منتهي, that noun ending with ya manqusan, for example, al-qadi. And now what they are saying, this is most important here. وَتَظْهَرْ عَلَيْهِ الْفَتْحَةِ. Only the fatha is visible. لِخَفْتِهَا. It's light. So only the fatha is visible over the waw and the ya. And in case of ism manqus, you will see visible fatha over the ya. But in marfu and majroor case, you will not see dhamma or kasra. So they have given the example as qadi. So you will see a visible fatha over the ya, ad-da'i, or al-ghazi, sa'i, al-ati, al-rami. So the last noun that was attached with the ya mutakallim, damir. So as you know, the rule that whenever nouns gets attached with an attached pronoun at the end, they make an idafa in itself. So the noun becomes the mudaf, and the ya mutakallim or any other attached pronoun at the end becomes the mudaf ilay. So it makes an idafa structure. And whenever you come across a ya mutakallim attached to it, the Eraab will be the haraka lil munasib, like the last letter of the noun will be busy taking the suitable haraka, and that is the kasra, due to addition of the attachment of the ya mutakallim, damir. For example, here you can say ghulami. So ghulam is now become mudaf, and the ya mutakallim damir is mudaf ilahi. So the whole thing, the whole ghulami is an idafa structure. So here meme is busy taking kasra due to the ya mutakallim. But if you attach any other pronouns to it, it doesn't change its haraka to kasra. This rule is only for ya mutakallim. For instance, if I say ghulamuka, ghulamika, or ghulamaka, so meme will show all the harakats when it is attached with other attached pronouns. This rule is only for the ya mutakallim. For example, kitabi, this is also an idafa, sadiqi, abi, and ustadi, all are idafa, and they this all these nouns, the last letter, for example, the ba, the qaf, the ba here in abi, and the zal, like zal here in ustadi, they are all busy taking kasra due to ya mutakallim. ويقابل إعراب البناء. So here author says, and opposed to the structure of the Eraab, it's clear that all the reason, the clarification, tamam the complete clarification with reasons, bayan al-akhir, all whatever you have done in the Eraab, the explanation at the end, what are the reasons. وقد ترك المؤلف, the author has left this explanation of the structure, how the Eraab comes into existence. نحن نبينه لك على طريقة. We are blind in this area, in this field of explanation of the structure of the Eraab التي بينا بها الإعراب. نقول, he says, بناء معنى. It has two meanings. First of all, it's لغوي, its author has explained in linguistic meaning, and the other in according to the grammar scholars of grammar. So he says in linguistic meanings, it means to place something or something else with the meaning of permanence and necessity. Let's see the grammarian view, istilahi view, and they say that all the nouns, they remain in their one structure, hala wahida, without any amil or any factor or reason, or without any i'tilal, means the defect. Defect means whenever the weak letter comes, there is a defect in the noun or the verb. But here you see the author is giving some examples of nouns which are built in one structure, and they are mabni. Mabni means when they don't change their structure, they don't change their haraka, even though they are in different position in the sentence. They might be in mubtada, they might be in maf'ul bi, or any other positions in the sentence, but they are not going to change the harakas. For example, here you can see these are questioning tools, kam, man. They are built in this structure with the sukoon on the last letter. If kam or man comes in the place of mubtada, do you think they will change their haraka to dhamma? No, they will not change. They are mabni. So here you see the sign as sukoon. Then you see this ismal ishara, haza, hazihi, haulai, ulaika. They're all built in one structure. Here you can see hamza with kasra. If this ismal ishara comes in mubtada, place of mubtada, do you think it will have a dhamma? No. Same goes with the ismal ishara, hadami, amsi. So you see there is a kasra here below the sin, here kasra below the mim. They will not change their structure or haraka. Then you see mundu, haythu, these are all zarf and they are built with dhamma on the last letter. They are not going to change. Then you see these questioning tools, aina, kaifa, they have fatha. So in all these nouns, they are all ism, even though they are questioning tools or zarf or anything ismal ishara, they are all considered to be nouns. They all fall under the category of noun. So you see, they are built on one structure. They have their own haraka at the end, that is cemented, if I can say. So you have seen four signs here. Alqab or signs of the structure are four. Sukun in the case of kam and man, then kasr in the case of hadami, haula'i and amsi, then attam in the case of mundu, haythu, and fatha in the case of aina, kaifa. So these are all the examples. After understanding this, now it will be easier to understand what is a mu'rab and mabni noun. So as I explained, mabni is never changing, never. It will never change its structure. And what about the mu'rab? The author explains mu'rab is something that taghayyir, change its hal, position. Lafzan means visibly you can see the harakas changing from dhamma, fatha to kasra. Aw taqdiri. And taqdiri, when it happens, when you see a weak letter, then the harakat taqdiri or muqaddara comes. So when a noun has a weak letter or a verb has a weak letter, then only you will see the changes of muqaddara haraka. And it happens only when there is a factor or a reason before it, that then only these changes happen. And you can see in the nouns and also in the verbs. And mabni is something that remains in the akhiru, the last letter, the position remains wahid, means one, means it does not change. For example, kam, man. So all these nouns, they don't change their haraka. And even though there is no amil or any defect, it will not change its haraka. So this is what the author is describing or explaining here. Now we will go straight over to the exercise. Coming to tamreen exercise, this is the question on picking out the mu'rab nouns and the mabni nouns. Bayin, clarify al-mu'rab bi anwa'uhu, means its type, and mabni. So you need to pick these two kind of nouns from the phrase below. Min kalimat al-waqi'ah fil ibarat al-atiyah. Qala Arabi. So an Arab poet or someone said, الله يخلف ما أتلف الناس والدهر يتلف ما جمعوا وكم من ميت علتها طلب الحياة وحياة سببها التعرض للموت. So now you need to find out the nouns which are mabni and mu'rab. Let's do that. So the sentence starts from here. Allahu. So lafzul jalala is a noun. It can change its haraka in different position. It may have a fatha or a kasra. So this is mu'rab. So I will write M-A-U. And yukhlifu, this is present tense, the only tense that changes its haraka. So this is also mu'rab. And Ma atlafa. So atlafa is past tense. So this is mabni. I will write M-A-B. And ma. This is ism mawsul. This is also mabni. So this ma with fatha and long vowel alif will not change its haraka. It's mabni. And nasu. So this is a noun. And how do you know what are the signs of noun? You go back to the first lesson, the lamat tarif. So this is a noun and it will change all the haraka. So this is morab changing. What dahru, this is also noun changing. Morab. Yutlifu, this is a present tense. So this is morab. It will change its haraka. Ma, again this is mabni. It will not change. Jama'u, this is a past tense with a vowel jama attached at the end. This is the damir vowel jama showing male plurality. So this will not change. This is mabni. Past tense don't change. Wa kam, atf is mabni. It will not change. Kam is a questioning tool we did before. It will not change. Min is harf jar. It will not change. It is mabni. Mayyatin, tanween, the sign of noun, it will change. Mawrab. And illatu is a noun, it will change. Mawrab. And ha is a damir, damirs don't change, they are mabni. Now, talabu is a noun, it will change. Mawrab. Al-hayati, it is a noun attached with lam tarif, the sign of a noun. So it is a noun, so it will change. Mawrab. Wa is mabni, atf is mabni, hayatin, mawrab. Sababu is mawrab, it's the noun. Ha damir is mabni. And ta'arudu, this is also noun, mawrab. And li harf jar, this li harf jar is mabni. And mauti is mawrab, it's a noun. So that's how you need to know which is mawrab and which is mabni. Let's do the next one. As'ila, questions. Ma huwa al-i'rab? So I have given the answer. What is i'rab? So this is هو تغير أحوال أواخر الكلمات, changing the harakas of the nouns or verbs or the last letter. مع تغيير الأوامر, with the change of amil, if the factor changes, the factor comes, it will bring about the change in the nouns also and in the verb also. الداخلة عليها لفظا أو تقديرا. It may be لفظا means it may be visible also, or it may be تقديري or assumed. ما هو البناء? So this bana, what do you mean by bana? هو لزوم آخر الكلمات لحالة واحد لغير عامل. Well, اعتلال means it is a structure. It is a structure of the noun. Either it can be adatul istifham, it can be ism mawsul ma, or questioning tool ma, or it can be harf jar, or it can be some nouns like ams, haythu. So all these nouns, they don't change. In zarf, they don't change their structure. So some of the zarf, they don't change their structure. And this is called the albina. لزوم آخر كلمات لحالة واحد, in one structure, built on one structure, لغير عامل or اعتلال. No defects, nothing. ما هو معرب? Means, what is morab? Morab means that something changes all the time. It changes to marfu, to mansub, to majrur. That is called morab. In Arabic, you say ma taghir hal akhir lafzan, means that which changes the last the haraka of the last letter changes. Aw taqdir, it can be visible, it can be the taqdiri, muqaddara, and due to coming of the amil. And ma huwa mabni is just the opposite. Those words which does not change their harakas on the last letter, as we came across, like man, kaifa, or the haythu or the harf jars, they all don't change the harakat. Even the damir attached damirs, the separate damirs, they are all mabni and they don't change their harakas, and they don't have any defects in them. ما معنى تغيير أواخر الكلم? As expected, as guessed by the question, what is do you mean by changing the awakhir al-kalam? Means changing the harakas of the last letter. It is هو تغيير أحوال أواخر الكلام ولا يقال أن يراد تغيير نفس الأواخر. Means the it does not change by itself, but if there is a reason, a factor, then only you will change the haraka of the last letter. Let's take all these three questions. إلى كم قسم ينقسم تغيير? How many types of changes are there? ينقسم في قسمين وهو لفظي وتقديري. One that you can see visibly and the other one that is تقديري, as we all did the تقدير مقدرة cases. ما هو التغيير اللفظي؟ ما لا يمنع من نطق به. Means you are not stopped or prohibited to pronounce. Means you can pronounce the harakas, you can see the harakas, you can write the haraka visibly over the letter. ما هو التغيير التقديري? So now coming to تقديري مقدرة, you can say ما يمنع من التلفاظ. Means it prohibits you in pronunciation. معنى من تعذر أو استثقال. It is a spelling mistake here. أو مناسبة, as we did the three types. تعذر in case of ألف مقصورة, استثقال in case of يا and واو, and مناسبة in case of يا متكلم. ما أسباب التغيير تقديري? Means what are the reasons for the harakas to become تقديري. أذكر سببين means you have to mention سببين, two reasons. مما that which يمنع النطق means it prohibits to pronounce with the haraka. So the two instances that we can recall is تغيير استثقال and مناسبة. You can say استثقال التعذر also, or تعذر مناسبة. So we have learned three cases. So out of the three you can give any two. ائتي بثلاثة أمثلة means give three examples لكلام مفيد بحيث يكون في كل مثال اسم معرب بحركة مقدرة منع من ظهورها للتعذر. So here you have to give three examples of kalam where the noun is معرب, changing with تقديري حركة. Means it should be تعذر. The moment you read the word ta'adhur, know that you need to give a noun with an alif maqsura. So I have given here ذهبت سلمى إلى المدرسة. So I have given this word Salma. You can't put a dhamma over this. سلمت على عيسى, and this is on majroor case. And رأيت مصطفى. So Mustafa is in Mansoob case. So all three cases I have given with a noun, particularly where the harakat is muqaddara للتعذر. إتي مثال لكلام مفيد في كل واحد منهما اسم معرب. So in this question you need to give examples where you will show a noun that is اسم معرب with haraka muqaddara mana min dhuhuriya. It should not be visible and it should be heavy. So whenever you come across the word thaqal means you should choose a noun when it has a weak letter ya or a weak letter waw. So I have chosen the word Qadi, it has a weak letter ya, and I have given all the three cases here. For example, Ja'a al-Qadiyu, it should have a dhamma over the ya, but it's not visible, it's muqaddara. And why I can't give? Because there is a weak letter and it's saqil. Ra'aytu al-Qadiya, as I said, in case of ism manqus, if you have a noun of ism manqus, remember in mansoob case it will show its visible fatha over the ya. That's why I purposely gave this example right now. And sallamtu ala al-qadi. What happens in the case of majroor? Due to this harf jar, The ya should have a kasra, but it is muqaddara للثقل. It is heavy, can't show its kasra visibly. ائت بثلاث أمثلة لكلام مفيد يكون في كل مثال منهما اسم مورب. In this question, you need to give 3 examples where you will give a noun attached with attached as it should be اسم مورب with حركة مقدرة منع من ظهورها and المناسبة. Now when this word comes munasiba, remember what should come in your mind is a noun attached with damir mutakallim. So here I have given all 3 cases with a noun that is attached with ya mutakallim. Then only your Arab will be لاشتغال المحل حركة مناسبة. So first one is in marfu case, baiti. It should have a dhamma over ta, but since it's attached with ya mutakallim, can't take, it's busy taking the suitable haraka kasra. Ra'aytu sadiqi. Now in this case, it's a mansub case. The qaf should have a fatha, but it's now busy taking a kasra due to ya mutakallim attached to it. Marartu bi madrasati. Marartu bi madrasati. Due to this harf jar, the ta should have a kasra, but it's busy taking kasra due to ya mutakallim. Why I marked this in green and red? Just to show you that this ya mutakallim has come. And in your Arab, you shouldn't say that it is a kasra al-zahira. You can see a kasra in majroor case, but this kasra is not zahir. This kasra is due to ya mutakallim. It is still muqaddara. Even though you see a kasra in the majroor case, even though it is muqaddara. In your Arab, you will say it is kasra muqaddara لأنه اشتغال المحل بحركة مناسبة. Why is it so? Because its original kasra due to harf jar is there, but since this is the case of ya mutakallim attached, that's why we have to keep it as muqaddara. This is the most important point. Most of the students, they do mistake here thinking it's kasra zahira. ائتي بثلاثة أمثلة لكلام مفيد في كل مثال منها اسم مبني. So I have not made a sentence, but I have given you the examples of mabni nouns anta, fi, man, ulaika, hadha, kam. So you can make sentence, but these are all the nouns that are mabni. I have given here important points on alif makhsura to remember. So the second last letter before alif makhsura will always end up having a fatha. For example, here ar-raha, duha, huda. You can see all the letters. For example, the ha here or the dal here is having a fatha. So whenever you see alif makhsura, check the previous letter. It will always end up with fatha. And the next important point about alif makhsura, that all the harakas with the alif makhsura are muqaddara in all the 3 cases, and it is at-ta'azzur. So all the Arab you do for the noun or a verb having alif makhsura, remember it should be at-ta'azzur. Next one. This is all the important points on isman qus and also weak letter waw and ya. So any verb or any noun with weak letter waw or a ya, the rules are the same. These are the nouns which ends with waw or ya at the end. So in all the 3 cases, here is a slight difference. In marfu and the majroor case, the dhamma and the kasra are muqaddara. But only in the mansoob case, the fatha will be a zahira. So here you can see it is saqil. This is the case of a saqil. The haraka is always saqil, but in the mansoob it is zahira. So I have given the example with isman qus ja'a al-qadi. There should be a dhamma, but it's heavy, so I can't put it on the weak letter ya. Ra'aytu al-qadiya. I've given this in mansoob case, so this weak letter ya will show the mansoob case, the fatha zahira over it. Lan yad'uwa. I have given this on fail mudare. In mansoob case, you can see the fatha over the weak letter waw in the verb. So there is a visible fatha over it. As I said that the weak letter waw and ya in mansoob case will show the visible fatha, fatha al-zahira. But coming back to majroor case here with the weak letter ya, the kasra is not visible. It is always muqaddara, and same goes with the waw. So these are all the important points for this types of nouns. Important points on ya mutakallim, nouns that are attached with ya mutakallim making an idafa. So it's very simple. In all the cases, the harakas are muqaddara, and it's in this case the letter is busy taking the suitable haraka kasra li ishtighal al mahal. Busy, it's busy taking the suitable kasra here. For example, kitabi, baiti. So all these are important points. Alhamdulillah, the chapter of Eraab is now finished, ended, and I hope I am very clear with my explanation. My next video will be on upcoming lesson number 7, Anwa al-Arab, that is the types of Arab. Now we will learn how many types of Arab is there. Inshallah, till then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.